The MegaSquirt is finished according to the manual. Now it's time to do some modifications to fit my application. So this is what an ignition system looked like in the 60s up until late 90s, early 2000s. You have one ignition coil powering all four, or more if you have that, spark plugs. And you have a distributor down here which have a rotary thing which rotates with the engine speed. So this is a very robust system, and you don't need a fancy ECU or something to power it, since it's powered from the engine revolutions. But it's old and it doesn't offer that much adjustability. So since I'm going full electric with an ECU, I thought, why not have coil and plugs? So this is what you call a coil and plug. This one replaces the distributor, and then you have one each on every spark plug. And yeah, you plug it into the ECU and you can ignite whenever you want. So my plan is to use these instead, remove this one. So like I said, this one powers all four, instead this one powers one. And you just have all four here, and I will build some bracket and connect it to the ECU.
In order to use sequential ignition, you need to have a secondary input from the camshaft. I'm rewiring the MegaSquirt to use the VR circuit as main input. The Hall effect circuit is then wired in as secondary trigger. Soldering with two hands is always tricky, you always need a third. I'm filling up the hole with solder before I'm actually using the wire, that way I can use only my two hands. Most idle controllers today are PWM controlled. You need to modify your MegaSquirt with a more powerful transistor as well as a flyback diode to control a PWM idle. If you're not using the high power ignition circuitry, there should be one spot left on the heatsink. Just remember to insulate the transistor, or else you will fry your ECU. In addition, some other transistors and some resistors should be removed. It all should be specified on the MS Extra website.
So this is a regular Volkswagen Audi coil and plug. Fairly popular choice when you're going coil and plug. So the pros of this one is that it is logic driven, which means you don't need high power electronics to power it. Instead it's built into it, and you just need a transistor to power it. And also, since everybody's using them, they are well documented. But there are different versions. As far as I know, there are two ways to build your MegaSquirt for them. So I need to take some measurements here. So I have a multimeter, which I'm going to put into resistance measuring. What you do is you measure between pin 2 and pin 3. And if it is below 500 ohms, which this one was, 390, then you should build a 5 volt pull-up circuit. The other alternative is a pull to ground circuit. So 2 ways of implementing it. But I think you need the same components for both versions. So you're gonna need a transistor or 4 transistors to N4033. I put it in the description. And you're gonna need a 1000 ohm resistor. So let's build it.
It's a good idea to really think through how you should mount the components. The transistors are quite bulky and need some consideration when you try to fit all 4 of them, together with the appropriate wiring and the resistors. I've said it before and I will say it again. Masking tape is a really great tool to keep components in place.
The soldering. It's screwed into place. I have checked all the circuitry, so I know it works. And no more soldering on the MegaSquirt. But a lot more work on the car. So for those of you that thought that this was too much soldering for you, the next episodes is going to be much more fun. See you in the next one.
Har inte en sån.